Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvaldgrim here, and today we are going to do another guide video. As many of you have said in the comments, some of you have troubles with finding your opponents in the arena and picking the right fights, and that way you are losing a lot of points because you don't have enough experience with the game to know what characters you should fight and what characters you should avoid for easy points. And that is going to be the aim of this video. I'm going to do my best to go over each and every single character in the entire game and explain how hard it is to fight them in the arena, and if it's going to be an easy win or a fight or a hard win, or if you should avoid them or not. Keep in mind that this is done only for the purpose of helping you pick harder fights. You should eventually learn to fight harder arena teams, but for now your first priority as a new player should be to get Elite 4 in order to fully unlock a character. So that is what I will try to do. I will try to tell you which characters are going to be easy enough to beat. But keep in mind that this is not going to be any how to get for a free win in the arena type of video. You are going to have to fight those characters, and you are going to have to fight them well. Because there are some characters in the game that simply don't really give you a fair fight, and you will need very specific teams to beat them. What I'm going to make sure is that you avoid those types of characters, but the characters that I will mention will give you a fair fight, but it will not be an easy fight, and you still need to be good at the game. But at least you are going to be avoiding the very hard and unfairly hard characters. Like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, subscribe for more future content like this, and if you're already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that bell button so you get notified for every single one of my uploads, and I would really appreciate if you do that. Let's get into it. Okay, so we are going to go over all the characters in not really a particular order, but just how they come about. And keep in mind that some of the characters that I'll mention over here can be eventually beat by you when you get a more advanced account, more advanced characters, and maybe you get better at the game, but for now you should best avoid them. So, first of all, we will have King of Atlantis Aquaman. King of Atlantis Aquaman is a character that you're definitely looking for to fight, because he is extremely easy to beat. He has absolutely no unfair mechanic that you're going to face when fighting him, and also keep in mind that he almost never uses his special tree. But keep in mind that most King of Atlantis Aquamans that you are going to be fighting are going to be very damage oriented, so they are going to deal tremendous amounts of damage to you, but again, no unfair mechanic, and you can dodge them around and you can play around with them because of the fact that this character is pretty easy to predict, and it's one of the easy pickings when you are looking to score a very high amount of points. So definitely fight King of Atlantis Aquaman. No. Just avoid DARKSEID. Yeah, you may see people in videos fighting legendary teams, but a team of characters that a team with King of Atlantis Aquaman and other easy to beat characters that are very high threat are going to give the same amount of points as a team full of legendaries. This is just if you want to fight specifically legendary characters, you can, but there's no reason to, since they are very hard to fight and it's just a show off, and it's only to prove a point, and the only point that you need to prove is to yourself, and by proving that point to yourself, you are going to need to hit Elite 4 in order to prove a point to yourself. If you want to prove a point to somebody else, go ahead and try, but for a beginner, legendary characters are just too much and too overwhelming to touch on. DARKSEID is going to have Sacrifice Are Necessary, which grants him Barrier and Regeneration when he kills one of your characters, and Apocalypse Bombardment, and the Barrier applies to his entire team. He's a nightmare to fight, so you should definitely avoid him. Atlantean Armor Aquaman is a character that you could fight. You could definitely fight because of the fact that his second ability is easily baitable. What I mean by baitable, it means that if you swipe back and block enough, he will eventually cast this at the ground. And yes, he has a passive that can regenerate health for his entire team, and that's annoying. He has armor piercing on his first special, that is annoying, and each time he casts an ability he will regenerate for his team, but overall he's a pretty fair character to fight and he doesn't have any unfair mechanics, and if you are able to burst him down you should have no problems. Prioritize killing him over his teammates, since if you damage his teammates they will heal off of his passive. Avoid Last of the Joker. I mean, he can be in the easy pickings teams that have very high threat but are very squishy, but I usually avoid from my secondary count the teams that have less left the Joker because of the fact that he has the passive of caught you off guard. And this basically means that you can't really reliably tag in while he is in the fight, and at the same time he's going to stun you when he dies, and as a new player you only have one good damage dealer in your team, and if that dies you are done for. And also he will get a very big amount of attack from this, and he can just one-shot your entire team by being the last character. And keep in mind that when a character of yours is killed and gets tagged into last of the Joker, that character will have a chance to get stunned even though you didn't tag him in. It got tagged in by the game, but can as well get stunned. So as a beginner I would avoid last of the Joker. Not the worst character in the entire game to fight, but not a pleasant one to fight. Power Girl, another character that I would definitely avoid because of one single thing, which is Walking Laser. Avoid any Power Girl character who has a possibility to deal enough damage for the Walking Laser to hurt, because of the fact that this Power Girl, other than the passive of reducing power bars, will get increasingly higher attack while the fight goes on and on. And the Walking Laser is going to be a very annoying ability, because while you fight in the arena you're going to just keep swiping back, keep dodging back in order to create some ground between you and your opponent and try to do your best to make him waste a skill or something, or get into a better position to create an opening. The fact that she has Walking Laser means that this is not a reliable strategy to use against her, and she will be able to damage you from the other side of the arena that you are fighting on, so most definitely avoid her. She's not an impossible character to fight, she can be a very easy character to fight for an advanced player, because at that point you have some resistances and the Walking Laser doesn't really hurt, but for a new player she can be pretty damn annoying. Silver Banshee, yes and no. She's going to be dealing a pretty big amount of damage to you in the arena, and at the same time she has the annoying Terrifying Will, who is going to tag out your characters. And a very annoying fact that I want to talk about is her jump attack. She's going to do a lot of jump attacks, and her jump attack will be very fast, so she can really screw up your damage dealer with no counterplay. I sometimes fight Silver Banshee on my lower threat accounts, but I sometimes don't. This one is really up to you. If you think you can handle it, then fight her. If not, don't. It's safer not to. Blademaster Robin, a very easy character to fight. You should definitely fight Blademaster, any team that has a Blademaster Robin, because of the fact that all his abilities are dodgeable, so you can just swipe back and he will eventually waste his energy on abilities that are not going to hit you. The only thing to keep in mind is that when he uses Vengeance to expiate the last part of the ability, which is the boomerang that he throws, it will come around the map and it will hit you in the back, so you need to be blocking when that happens and dodge the rest of the ability. Yeah, it sounds complicated, but once you get the hang of it, it's very easy. Justice League Batman can be on the annoying side of Justice League characters because of his tactical batsuit. And I tend to avoid Justice League teams that have Justice League Batman, because how you play against Justice League teams, and that can be very easy, is you try to do your best to kill them without getting damaged by them, because they deal tons of damage, and you are going to have to kill them fast. And the passive of Justice League Batman is going to prevent that, because the first special used on one of the Justice League characters can be, of course, blocked. So you should not really fight Justice League teams that have Justice League Batman, because of the fact that he kind of counters the most reliable strategy that you have to fight a Justice League team. Reverse the Flash is a very easy character to fight, though it's a little bit of a gamble with his passive, because his passive is going to have a chance to swap your power with his own when he tags in. That can sometimes work in your favor, that can sometimes work to your detriment. But other than that, he's a very predictable character, a very easy to fight character, no very hard to counter abilities or mechanics. The only thing is that he is a flash character, and flash characters tend to be very fast, so watch out for that, but definitely a character that you can fight. John Stewart Green Lantern, another pretty easy character to fight. The only thing to watch out for is his second special, because it's armor piercing, so make sure you are blocking that, because that will damage you pretty badly. Justice League Cyborg, it's going to deal lots of damage, but if you can really handle yourself and you can master the combat system, you can eventually beat the Justice League team that has Justice League Cyborg in it, and we will talk about other characters, so you just think of Justice League as a whole team, and for example, if it has Batman, you don't fight it. If it has Cyborg, you just think about it considering the other characters in the team that we'll get into later in the video. Arkham Knight Batman, well, this is quite a thing because of the fact that he is a very tanky character, and the character that will punish you if you screw up, because he will regenerate and gain power for every character that you are going to lose. But at the same time, he's a very predictable character and a very easy character to play around with. So should you fight him? Well, depends. If you have a very good damage dealer, then yes, you can fight him. But you need to keep in mind that he will have lots of defense and lots of health from his abilities. And also if he has tech and agility teammates, that will also happen. So when fighting him, first of all, you need to keep in mind that you will need to deal huge amounts of damage to him in order to kill him. But he's pretty easy to fight against. And you need to keep in mind his free flow counter, which is going to counter abilities from metahumans. So definitely don't use a metahuman damage dealer against him. ATROCITUS, it's manageable, can be pretty annoying because of the fact that he will give one of his teammates a few passive on tag in. The lethal chance, it's kind of bullshit, you don't need to worry about that. The power bars can be a little bit annoying, but the most annoying thing is going to be the 10-second shield reflect. And in order to really counter that, you just need to keep hitting the enemy while the reflect is active with a weak character. Because if you are not hitting the enemy will hit you. So you will need to hit into that reflect with your weakest character so you don't take too much damage, but keep hitting so you don't leave free room for your enemies to make a move. If you can manage that, then ATROCITUS is going to be a decently easy fight. If not, then you should avoid him. Entangling Poison Ivy, well, when she is in the League of Anarchy team, she is coupled with Last Have a Joker, of course, and Heartbreaker Harley Quinn. She's a pain in the ass to deal with, and you should avoid that team. When she's alone, she is fairly easy to deal with. Multiverse Batwoman, another character that is very easy to deal with. You don't really need to watch out for anything except for her special one, because it can give a chance to use the special tree at no cost. So if she uses special one and clock thing appears on the screen or some symbol, you will know that she can use her special tree without any cost. So you should watch out for that, but a pretty easy character to fight. Sonic Black Canary, character to fight. You can dodge most of her abilities and you'll have a very easy time fighting her. Multiverse Black Lightning, I don't think you should really fight this guy as a beginner, because he can be very annoying because of the fact that he's going to have armor piercing on his special tree, so he will shred with that and will have the most annoying special 2 to fight in the game, because he will simply lock you in a cage where you can do almost nothing and you will take damage consistently. So you should avoid Black Lightning. Definitely fight Swamp Thing. It's going to be one of the easiest characters to fight in the entire game. He might even kill himself. Not really, but you get the point. Flora Poison Ivy, it's a decent character to fight because of the fact that the only threatening thing is going to be her special 2, but it's going to be a very threatening thing, don't get me wrong, because this thing is going to have armor piercing and can straight up one-shot one member of your team just out of anywhere. So if you fight her, you need to kill her fast, or you need to make her use her special 2 and waste her energy on another character, not your damage dealer, because this is going to destroy your damage dealer and is going to be used underneath him. So no matter your positioning, you're going to be hit by this. Dr. Fate, a very easy character to fight. For me, the fact that he reduces the power cost for the teammates doesn't really matter. might matter when fighting some specific matches against specific teams, but most of the time I don't mind about their power bar reduction. But it's a very easy character to fight in my opinion. HELLBOY, yet again a pretty easy character to fight unless you are trying to deal dot damage to him, because he heals from dot damage. So definitely fight HELLBOY, but don't try to deal dot damage towards him. Also, he gets a buff when fighting arcane opponents, but that doesn't really matter really. Not much of a difference there. Armored Superman, well, one of the only characters with a shield that I love fighting. So the only downside is the fact that he will have a super shield, which will reflect damage, and that you can find ways around it. I have a guide explaining that, but it's pretty annoying. Encrypt on your armor, which is going to ignore your first special attack, but on the other hand, his first ability is extremely easy to dodge, his third ability is extremely easy to dodge. So what I do is when, first of all, I have no problem fighting him, and when I find a team that has him, I do my best, so when Superman tags in, I keep him in the fight as much as possible until he wastes all his energy, and then I try to damage him to force a tag out in order to kill the other characters, and yet again let him waste the energy because his specials are very easy to dodge. Suicide Squad DEADSHOT can be pretty annoying. In the Suicide Squad team with Harley and Enchantress can be a pain in the ass to fight, so avoid the Suicide Squad team, but when he's alone he is fairly easy to deal with. You need to keep in mind that his special attacks are going to be able to be used from range, so dodging back is not going to work that well, but you can find ways around him as well. Heartbreaker Harley Quinn is going to depend. If you're fighting League of Anarchy, don't do that as a beginner. Like the whole league with Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, Joker, and Entangling Poison Ivy. And if you're fighting her alone, there are two possibilities. You have a character that relies on stuns, like Batman or Black Adam. Don't fight her, because she has a chance to reflect the stuns and turn them onto yourself. You have any other team other than this, definitely fight her, because her special 1 and her special 2 are extremely easy to dodge and she will be a piece of cake to fight. Multiverse Captain Cold is going to be a fairly easy character to fight, nothing really to watch out. His specials have a pretty long range and he's going to be pretty tanky, but other than that he's going to be easy, and the shields that he receives from his special attacks you can get down with casting an ability on him. Multiverse White Canary, she is built on the archetype of Silver Banshee in terms of basic attacks and jump attacks, so overall she's not a very threatening character, but yet again has a very annoying jump attack. Definitely fight her, but take care when it comes to that. Shazam can be annoying, but can be at the same time fairly manageable to fight, because his first ability can be jumped over, his second ability is easy to dodge, but you need to be very careful not to cast any abilities on him while he's blocking, because he might trigger Retribution of Zeus, which will cast a third ability for free, and at that point you're pretty much screwed. Enraged Pain, pretty easy to fight. He has a passive that when you use a skill on ability on him, he will be unblockable. When that happens, if he's not dead at the point, just swipe back instead of blocking and avoid him. Telekinetic Gorilla Grodd is going to be a pretty annoying character because of the fact that he can prevent your tag out, but you're not going to encounter this character very often because nobody is going to build it. Emerald Green Lantern, a pretty easy character to fight yet again, because he can miss his first special and second special pretty often, and his passive is the worst variant of ATROCITUS passive, so nothing really to worry about. You need to be only careful of the fact that he has a pretty long dash attack. Unhinged Harley Quinn, yet again a pretty easy character to predict and fight, but be careful not to get one of your characters killed by her, because he will join their team. Nightwing can be fairly manageable to fight, not very hard to fight. His second and third ability can be easily dodged, but you need to keep in mind that his first ability is going to have a pretty long range. Classic Batman, you are not going to encounter this often. Like nobody really builds him and nobody really uses him. It's decently easy to fight him, but he can be a little bit annoying with his blinding abilities, so take care about that. Cheetah is an extremely easy character to fight, and you are not going to encounter her much often because nobody builds her. Robin, yet again, a very easy character to fight. Keep in mind that his specials are going to be a little bit different from the Gold Robin, the Blademaster Robin, but you're going to be able to be fine against him too. Speed Force the Flash, a pretty easy character to fight, but you need to execute your combos right, because if he's swiping or dodging back, he can avoid the damage, and he also has a chance to stun on special 1, so keep that in mind, but overall a pretty manageable character to fight. Green Arrow, a very easy character to fight, just take care of his special 1 and you can just jump over it. His basic attacks are a little bit annoying, but other than that he's easy. Unbreakable Cyborg, a very easy character to fight, but you need to keep in mind that he has stun on special 2, that can be easily dodged by going back, and he has power drain on special 1, but that special 1 is also going to be a hazard, so you can just swipe back and avoid it. Swamp Thing, yet again a very easy character to fight. The Flash, a pretty easy character to fight, but yet again it's a Flash, so he will have pretty fast hits. Justice League the Flash, it's a fairly easy Justice League character to fight if you are able to handle Justice League, if you're at that level of being able to play. You need to keep in mind that he is going to give unblockable to the first ability for each Justice League member, and he's going to also have a stun on his second special, and he's going to deal lots of damage with his basic attacks. Yet again, it's manageable to fight if you can fight the Justice League, but for a beginner, I recommend you avoid Justice League as a whole. Harley Quinn, easy to fight like all the other Harley Quinns. Warrior Queen Wonder Woman, a pretty easy to fight character. Keep in mind that she has armor piercing on her first special, and you can use her Amazon Warrior passive, which is going to spawn an Amazon Warrior to drain power from the enemy team and make that character use a lot of energy, because it's going to be a very, very weak summon. Batman, very easy to fight, careful not to get stunned. Joker, very easy to fight, but be careful about his passive and try not to get stunned by that or get stunned on a character that you don't need alive. Scarecrow, pretty annoying to fight because of the fact that he can stop the tag out and stun you, but you shouldn't really worry about that since he's not going to be encountered that often. Grid, a very easy character to fight, but you need to keep in mind that you shouldn't try to one-shot him with basic attacks because of the fact that he will gain a shield if he loses that much health. And you should avoid fighting him with cyborgs because he counters that pretty easily. Soul Stealer Dr. Fate, a very easy character to fight. Keep in mind that he is going to swap the health with you when he uses his super move. So if he is ready to use the super move, you can use that to your advantage. Firestorm is going to be a very easy character to fight. The only downside is that you don't see him often and you might be unused to fighting him, but he's pretty easy. Bane, yet again a very easy character to fight against. Superman, no, this is annoying, especially for a beginner, because his passive is going to make him have a chance to simply ignore your attacks, and when he ignores your attacks, it's like you are blinded and he can begin a combo on you, and he will be very, very hard to kill. Try to avoid him, though he's not seen that much often, because not many people build him. Black Canary, again a pretty easy character to fight. Horrific Scarecrow, well, as a character he's not very hard to fight, but you need to keep in mind that he's got that passive, the Fear Aura, who's going to increase your abilities cost, so you should try and see if you can deal with that or not. But other than that, as a standalone character, he's not hard to deal with. Cyborg is going to be a character very easy to deal with. Keep in mind that he regenerates when he's out of combat, but that doesn't really matter. Classic Superman, yet again a very good character. You don't see him that much often, so you might not be used to him, but an easy character to deal with. This is going to be Wonder Woman, a pretty easy character to deal with. Keep in mind that she has a shield. Aquaman, pretty easy character, keep in mind the power of Neptune because it's power drain. Very easy to fight character, but keep in mind that he will use his first and second ability from long range. Catwoman, very easy to fight character, but her basic attacks might be a little fast, but other than that, very easy. Gorilla Grodd is going to be a very easy character to fight. You shouldn't worry about that since he will not be encountered very often. He has a shield though, so keep in mind that. Amazonian Wonder Woman, an easy character to fight. She has a shield, but you are not going to see that often. I'm not even sure how you get this one. Green Lantern can be pretty annoying because of the fact that he has this passive green barrier, which is going to absorb an amount of damage at the start of the fight, so you should take that into consideration. Oh boy, don't fight this one. Because of the fact that it's going to be very annoying for you to fight him as a new player. He's got very fast basic attacks, he's got a shield, and his first ability is going to deal a lot of damage and will be almost map wide, so even if you're dodging back, you're going to be hit by it. Brainiac you can fight. If Brainiac is not teamed up with any legendaries that I advise you not to fight, then you can easily fight him because he's not that incredible. Suicide Harley Quinn, if she's teamed up with a Suicide Squad, then avoid her at all costs as a beginner, but if she is alone, then she will be a very easy fight. Enchantress, I haven't fought her that much myself. I would avoid her as a beginner, even if she is or is not teamed up with Suicide Squad. Doesn't seem very hard to beat, but I can't really give my opinion fully on this one. Justice League Superman, definitely avoid. Definitely avoid. He's going to have the passive protector tagging in and screwing up your special attacks and most likely one-shotting the character that had the audacity to do that special attack. And his super block is going to also heal him. Amazing. Don't fight that. Black Manta. Avoid him as a beginner. Like, it can be done. It can be done because he's not that unfair to fight against, but he's going to have too many things that are coming towards your way, and he's not very reliable to dodge back from because he's got a very long range jump attack. So yeah, avoid Black Manta. Definitely avoid Multiverse Armored Supergirl. You don't want to fight this because her passive is going to make her always tag in at the right moment and always begin a combo, and most of the times do a special after that. So you're playing everything perfect and she interrupts you and kills you, so avoid that. Batman, Ninja, Catwoman, like, you could deal with this, like, the only annoying thing is that her second special is going to be pretty long range and is going to heal her, and she will be immortal for a few seconds. As a beginner, avoid her, but in no time you'll be able to deal with her. Multiverse Green Arrow, pretty easy to deal with if he's outside the Multiverse team, but keep in mind that his special one will power drain you even if you block. Black Adam I'd rather avoid. He's not a very hard to deal with character, but he has a chance to stun your character when he tags in, and I don't like taking chances like that. Nightmare Batman you should definitely avoid as a beginner because he will stun your first character that enters the fight and at the same time will reflect the damage he receives on basic attacks. But as an advanced player you will eventually be able to beat him. Multiverse The Flash, if he is in a multiverse team then you should avoid him. If he is alone then you can fight him. He's going to be one of the more difficult Flash fights, but it's definitely manageable and he is predictable to some extent. His special one will be harder to dodge for most characters. Batman Ninja Batman, very easy fight, very easy to deal with. Keep in mind that he can also get a free special tree, so keep that in mind. Batman Ninja Lord Joker, a very easy to deal with character as long as you don't have a Batman in your team, so this passive does not trigger. Batman Ninja Robin, yet again a pretty easy character to fight if you are not fighting him in the full Batman Ninja team. Red Hood, very easy to fight. Keep in mind that his special one is going to be long range. Multiverse Supergirl, like, she is one of those multiverse characters that I was talking about with the annoying walking laser, but she is not going to usually have that much damage. She's going to be more on the tanky side, so you can fight her, but be careful with what multiverse character she's paired up with. Justice League Aquaman, very easy to fight alone. If he's in the team with Justice League, the Flash and Justice League Cyborg, you can still do that, but you'll have a much harder time. Not impossible, but hard. Mythic Wonder Woman, try to avoid her because of the fact that she has a shield, she has armor piercing on her special one, and she gets additional attack when she kills a target, so you screw up once and it's only downhill from that point. Predator Batman, you can play around with him. He's pretty annoying with his special one because it's armor piercing and will one-shot the character, and he is going to do that pretty often and pretty unpredictable, but if you can manage that, and he is an easy fight. Dark Supergirl can be pretty annoying with that tagging attack, but overall she is manageable to fight. Not recommended to fight, but manageable to fight. Also, I have a new phone and I've never used the microphone on this phone, so imagine if I recorded the video all the way to this point only to figure out that the microphone is not working. Captain Cold is not going to be any trouble for you. Ace Green Arrow will be pretty easy to deal with, though keep in mind that he's going to power lock you, which means you will not generate power for that amount of seconds when he tags out. Energized Starfire, it depends. She's going to generate health for each power bar that you are going to use. But if you have a team that deals damage with basic attacks, then you can beat her. If you have a team that relies on special attacks, then she will be a pain in the ass. Powered Supergirl, a pretty easy character to beat, even though she has walking laser. Maybe avoid her, maybe not, see for yourself how you deal with that. Sub-Zero, a very easy character to fight. Master Thief Catwoman, again a very easy character to fight, keep in mind the fast basic attacks. Batman Ninja Harley Quinn, yet again a very easy character to fight, be careful with what other Batman Ninja characters she's paired up with. Blue Beetle, yet again a pretty easy character to fight, a pretty overwhelming kit he's got with every ability giving a different bonus, but you can handle it. And finally Raiden, you should be careful with Raiden because his special trick can damage your entire team if you are not careful, and at the same time he can dash back pretty easily, and he's not that often encountered, but overall you can manage that. Oh boy, those were all the characters. So, this was all for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you found this helpful. Let me know down in the comments if you have any further questions. Like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.